So welcome back. We are starting off our second part here and gonna kick off into the questions.
But first, Mr. Fisk is calling me out for going on break and commenting in the comments of the chat saying goodbye to somebody that was leaving. I got to serve double duty, man. Somebody's got to read your comments.
Yeah, also, I don't. I just get up and walk away, man. Like,
Dennis doesn't give a shit as soon as the camera stops. Yeah.
My fridge is probably closer to me than Dennis's door is to him to leave that room. So it's not very far for me to go.
Yeah, it's a very close contest. And then I have to go 3 rooms over to get to my kitchen. Like, it's ridiculous.
A beer run is like, it's a run. You got to get geared up for it.
That's it.
Good stuff.
And on that note, the first question of the evening is folder or fixed blade as a hunting knife. Also, what's your favorite hunting knife?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't delete that one.
Yay!
Thank goodness.
Right off the hop, Gear in Situ says he likes a fixed blade, specifically the Buck Open Season, which they just released. I don't know if they just released, but we just got in a Open Season folder. Did we not, Dennis?
I think that's what that one was called. Yeah.
I looked at it online and I was like, I'm pretty sure that I looked up for the folder. So yeah, Buck kind of pistol-y curved handle. Not quite as curved as that, but yeah. Deep hollow grind. So as far as like a sharp little skinner,
slicey.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm just popping up a quick image on OBS here so people can see what we're talking about.
Nice.
I really wish I could do it through Zoom so that you guys could also see what we're talking about.
Yeah, look, I can see it there. Yeah, that is the exact same knife, but a folder that we have on the shelf right now.
Cool.
I know what you're talking about, Joe. I don't have to see it. We're good.
I know that you know, Dennis.
The viewers might not.
No, he can do it on that, but the OBS thing works. Yeah.
Yeah. Kiefer says he prefers a folder, always a folder, but he doesn't go into detail as to which folder. So I'm curious as to where that would go, whether it's just whatever folder he happens to have in his pocket that day, or if he has something that's more specific, like a Buck 110 or something like that, but we're never going to know.
But, I mean, there is an argument with a folder, like just any sort of folder that you have as far as just the control and the dexterity. Most folders that you're going to come across is going to be in that 3 to 4 inch, 3.5, things like that, that are going to be very versatile tools, right? Yeah. I mean, we all kind of know the inherent downside to a folder being the cleanliness factor, right? Like it's kind of something that, But if you're willing to clean and maintain your blades, then when you got home, I have no argument with a folder, honestly.
Zinx EDC in chat just said, boo, LOL, harder to clean. Which,
True story.
I've had people actually ask me before, hey, so I want something for hunting, and I want it to have a ball-bearing pivot. So, no, I don't think you do.
Yeah.
It's like, should I be extra mean and try to sell them on something like an IKBS from...
Oh, you bastard.
With the loose ball bearings.
Sell them a fossil.
Oh. Actually,
and I know people who have skid with a fossil. It's nice recurve with a point in the belly and it's...
I was just going to say that blade would be nice for it.
But yes, the ultimate downside is you better get home and take your knife apart, because if you don't, you might have some downsides.
Yeah.
Especially if you are looking at a D2. Sorry, Nigel. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh, no. All I said was some grossness.
Yeah.
As far as downsides.
Yeah.
When you get them,
And the funny thing is when you mentioned D2, like Benchmade had, this one is one I put AWT scales, but like Nigel has one too. The D2 Griptilians were specifically Cabela's exclusive, which is a hunting sporting goods store, right? So
Yeah.
they were promoting their D2 Griptilians as Cabela's only kind of feature for a long time.
And they went with the OD green because that's definitely the color of handle you want when you're out in the bush.
Oh, yes.
Sometimes the elk is going to look in my pocket, and I don't want to spook him with bright colors, okay?
Stop showing your pockets to the local wildlife, Dennis.
That close. I'm camo right now. I'm amazed you can see me. It's like...
Hey, you're just a floating head as far as I can see.
Yeah. That explains it.
Which is funny because Nigel was actually the one out hunting this weekend.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Fisk is also saying something along the lines of make sure it has an access lock as well. So, just as far as the cleaning aspect. But the Buck 110 is a folding hunting knife. Like, that's what it was designed for, was it not?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was designed for.
Now. And that knife would be way more difficult to clean out than any...
Yeah, riveted together.
Yes and no, right? Like, yes, the pivot would be, but everything is kind of just Q-tip and, like, paper or, like, whatever to get through.
Yeah.
This is not the exact knife, but this is what my grandpa would take out hunting. And I've seen his, and it's not filthy, it's not dirty. He managed to clean it, but it's a job.
There is no disassembly, but there's a lot less internal going on than an access lock, a Spyderco ball bearing lock.
You just have a spring and a backspacer to worry about, really.
An old slip joint or anything else like that has a back lock. When they start to gum up and things start to freeze in place, that's
No, it's especially difficult with a pinned construction because, again, there's no adjustability. But you can make it work.
On that note, yeah.
On that note, they specifically make like the Stockman and things like that, which are obviously meant to be used on animals.
Yeah.
So
the Trapper,
the Trapper. Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah.
That's exactly it. I never know how to say this guy's Instagram name, but it's SMRKECSMRK. He said folder.
Did you say which one?
He just said folder. Not even a folder. Just the word folder.
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 All right. Folder. I hardly know her.
Why use lot words when little words work?
Words.
Do they, though?
Little was a big word there. That had 2 syllables. I think you could have got that down to 1 syllable if you had thought about it a little bit.
Words, how do they work?
Like magnets.
Indeed. Zinx. So Zinx was commenting in chat just a few minutes ago. He prefers a fixed blade, not surprisingly. Specifically, the Case XX leather stacked Hunter.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah. You showing that off?
I'm trying to. There looks like there's a couple different versions available. One that looks suspiciously like a Buck 119 pattern.
But with a K-bar handle?
Yeah, with a K-bar handle, slightly different end cap. There's a bird's...
I want to see it.
Well, see, the problem with... Oh, yeah, that's right. Onto... Yeah. So, if you... I forgot you were watching on... Yeah, no, I just forgot you were looking at the TV.
It's right over here.
So, there's the bird's head pommel style here. The mushroom style...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's a couple different varieties out there, but overall, I get the vibe, I think.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Hee hee, mushroom.
Oh yeah, it is.
Shut it, you.
Go forage on your own time.
Is that what you call it?
On that note, Mr. Fisk says he usually hunts with his Sebenza. He doesn't have a lot of success.
I bet you he did if his morality went way down. Because I know that
he's got a store full of things that he could easily take down with his Sebenza.
that parrot would just kiss.
I've never gone to a pet store that didn't have rabbits, and
Right.
they're made of delicious. I'm just saying.
I think he's using his Sebenza wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
Terrible.
We'll wait for that to percolate in chat.
I'm sure there'll be lashback.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm waiting for an unsubscribe at any time.
Oh no. We got from him. My pet store doesn't have rabbits. ... anymore.
Did you start a rabbit fighting league?
Rule number 1: don't talk about rabbit fighting league.
Yeah.
That would be number 1 as far as rules. Ahsoka Edge says that he prefers both. Frame locks preferred, but he prefers a blade, anything that's upswept and sheep footy.
Upswept and sheep footy, like at the same time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And when I first read that, I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. And then I took this out of its sheath, and that's upswept and sheep footy.
I can't think of too many folders outside of like maybe some buck knives that maybe have tips like that.
Ahsoka likes some pretty nice things, so like there's probably customs that have that blade shape.
Yeah,
you bet there is. I think it's the Noma from CRKT, but Jesper Vox does a custom version of the Noma that has that kind of upswept sheep foot.
Cool.
I think the CRKT version was just like a cheapy black plastic handle for like $35 type of thing.
Because that sounds like a CRKT thing to do for sure, unfortunately.
But when you think about the pillar and you think about a Jesper Vox design and you think of what he can do, it's not surprising that a sheep's foot upsweep is,
within the realm.
It wouldn't surprise me if there's giant mouse knives out there with a similar blade shape. I'm pretty sure I've seen them.
There's fixed blades with that blade shape for sure. Morgan has one of them. Yeah.
But he said he likes both. Yeah. And then specifically that blade shape. So
okay. Makes sense. And I definitely agree. What is the Zulu? Yeah. It's an
upswept Wardcliff.
Not with that spine, it isn't. Not with that recurve, it isn't.
It's an upswept Wharncliffe that really is trying to become a trailing point. Like, if it was in the flip book of that conversion...
This is a trailing point. Yeah. This is not a...
Mr. Fisk has some contention with your pronunciation of Pilar, not Pilar.
Yeah, it's named after an Esterman ship, and it only had one L, so it's not Pilar, it's Pilar.
And then he unsubscribed, so way to go, Dennis. We're going to have to wait 5, maybe 6 minutes for him to resubscribe.
We might have to turn the camera off and then back on again, and so I can pretend like I give a shit.
I'm going to add a new rule to the drinking game. We get to drink
it is Pilar.
I didn't catch any of that. What was that? Paul first?
I said, I'm going to add a new rule to the drinking game. We get to drink anytime Dennis is an asshole.
I don't have that much
alcohol. That's not a game.
Then we wouldn't be stopped drinking.
This is just binge drinking until one of us dies.
Yeah. This is me reaching out. Help.
And for the record, I am wrong. It is Pilar.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're being an ass.
To be honest, I call it the Pilar as well. So
Yeah.
After it's all said and done, yeah, I'm definitely in the wrong. I just don't like arguing.
There's so many different knife names that I'm sure we all mispronounce horribly, but
Oh yeah.
Zinx just said, "Oof, that's a lot of booze."
He doesn't even know me personally. That's the best part.
He has no idea.
Tip of the iceberg.
Next week's episode is going to be live from rehab.
terrible.
Yep. Oh, sorry. I put these away, and I'm going to need them again.
Alrighty.
Yeah,
We got any
So
other
there-
answers?
I most definitely do. The next answer we got is from Joe Frazier. He said fixed blade, and then he said he likes his bench blade Puko,
Ah, okay.
Right.
I was gonna say.
which it's not the wrong answer. 3V Strop's
No.
pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. I think just really depends on how abusive you are as you're doing any sort of processing
No.
with that. I've had people come back and because they might have been a little rough around the bones, were wondering like, why did I get flat spots on the 3V type of idea? And the only
You
thing
gotta
I
be
could
careful
say
of
is,
not
well,
around the bone.
yeah. If you're in there twisting, prying, scraping, whatever, or not conscious about cutting through bones and not stropping it back as you're doing it because you're noticing where those flat spots might occur.
The glorious part
I
about
mean-
that, you could probably just strop the knife back to razor sharp on the bones that you dulled it on.
It's
Probably
possible.
would.
It's possible.
Yeah, with 3V.
On the hide, at least,
Yeah.
depending on
Yeah.
what the animal was. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
I threw this. Nigel threw this. Dennis threw this. The edge was ruined. And then I stropped it and it's shaving sharp again. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah. 3V is
but
amazing stuff.
pretty good indication that mine's pretty soft. So mine's first gen. They fixed that.
But I mean, as a general rule, like I was just playing with the Bravo in the first episode or whatever, and it's 3V, and I've definitely sharpened it enough that it doesn't matter if people want to hype about the controversy of Bark River burning blades or whatever. It's down to the point where it's some real 3V action, and stropped it for 3 seconds over a 4-day weekend and was back to shaving sharp. Like, had it to the point where it was tugging hair, it wasn't doing anything. And if you spend 90 seconds with that thing, just bringing 3V back, it'll continue to perform and continue to perform and continue to perform, right? So that's one of the beautiful things about 3V, is you might get that rolled edge, but if you're conscious about it, yeah. Paul?
Yeah, so there's a reason why I like it so much. There's a number of my fixed blades that are in 3V. Even stuff that's kind of weird as far as like, this is like on par almost with the tough as far as having 3V in it. You know what I mean? Not quite,
Mhm.
but it's not a big chopper or something like that that's really going to benefit from the 3V as much. I just like it is all.
That's part of the problem.
Yeah.
But I think a big misconception about it is one of these bomb-proof steels out there. And I think the big thing that I've experienced, at least, is you still have to keep an eye on it. It's just really easy to bring back over and over and over again. But if you're not paying attention and you just keep on, like, you're going to look down at your edge, and it's not going to be like an S90 or a M390 or whatever, where it's going to be still pristine or whatever. It's going to have some wear on it. But you can just bring that wear back more than you can on any other steel I've ever experienced, right? Like it's
Right.
The only other thing that falls into that same kind of category for me is Sandvik. Sandvik strops back so easily, but 3V definitely holds an edge for a longer period of time in between stroppings even.
And I think the other thing for me would be the overall impact resistance of 3V. Like
The
both. Well, I mean, yeah. My Bravo,
Nothing
Nigel,
close to
can
it.
attest to the fact that I am not nice to it. I smash it through things all the time. And I'm like, if it's got a broken wood handle, I'll send it back and hopefully they'll make a new wood handle for me or whatever, right? But it's done me very, very well as far as the just impact smashing. And I don't think Sandvik would. If I did the same things I did with my Bravo that I did with a root
Right.
knife with 1428 or something like that, yeah.
No?
Yeah, a
'Cause
clipper even, yeah.
Keep in
These
mind,
take pretty damn good abuse.
keep in mind, 14C is what is it, 5 times tougher than 1095? So there, it could handle. But to bring it back to hunting knives, bit of a trade-off between your edge holding and your toughness. What do you value more? What sort of cutting chores are you doing? What sort of animals are you processing?
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And how many
Yeah.
do you expect to go through realistically? Like, there's a reason why Benchmade is coming out with all these S90V variants as opposed to doing a ton of 3V stuff.
Dennis, you gave us a cat update, but you didn't give chat a cat update. The cat's sleeping, right?
The cat is sleeping on the kitchen chair.
It would
I would
just
be an asshole
to wake
if I
her
see
up
her
right now.
wandering. She'll make an appearance, but I'm not going to be the dick that wakes up a 14-year-old cat, even though 14 is not even that old. Whatever, she's not. She's still
14's getting on, though. I mean,
Yeah.
you're right. Let the poor kitty sleep.
On that note,
I need to refill my wine glass. You guys are killing me here.
before you do that, pronounce your roommate's last name.
Blaine?
The hunting roommate.
You mean Blaine?
Kaufler.
Yeah.
Kiefler?
Is that Kiefler?
Kaufler.
I
Kaufler.
believe it's Kiefler.
All right. I like that.
Pretend like the U isn't there.
Okay.
I
Kiefler.
think. I don't know.
I don't know why I can't say it
I don't
normally.
call him by his
Kiefler,
last name.
but Blaine says he prefers a fixed blade. Tough calling his favorite, though.
Well, he's got a couple decent ones, but
Yeah.
one of the knives he has, which is far from the nicest as far as blade geometry goes for skinning, is actually just like this handmade. It was made here in Calgary, and it's like a Damascus steel. I'm guessing 1095 that's been heat treated, like semi-decent, with like, I think it's a horn handle. And yeah, I've seen him use it probably more than anything else, but I think there's more of a sentimental reason for him to take that knife out more than anything else.
Better
Right?
answer
So
this one.
it's in the same ballpark.
Okay.
He's got a Master Hunter with a gut hook that's got the old Carbon 5. And with that full flat grind with a gut hook on a Master Hunter, I would arguably say that's probably the nicest skinning knife in his collection. But I'm going to speak for him because he's not in chat and he can't defend himself. So,
Speaking of Master Hunters in 3V.
Oh, yeah.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
in 3V. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Is that oddly enough, I have one, but it's in 3V.
Is that the knife you took out this weekend, Nigel?
No, I just took out the little guy because we were just doing Little Bird and stuff.
Yeah. What was the little guy that you took?
The little
Oh yeah, Little Creek. Sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Little Creek
My
Skinner.
bad. Yeah.
Mr. Fisk said, "Can you imagine trying to have a knife collection when being with Dennis as your roommate?"
Why?
Okay.
Why?
Blaine's a Viking. He's got a sword and axe collection.
He has an armor collection at this point, too, doesn't
Yeah.
he? Like,
Yeah.
it
like,
kind of
talk-
balances out.
he's into some pretty
Talk
cool
to
shit.
him about the history of the 12th century Vikings, and he will put you to bed with all the knowledge he has. Like it's so. Yeah, like I think that's we complement each other's nerdery quite well. I think so.
Most definitely. Keeping up with Dennis will eat your paycheck. Especially with what he's been doing this year.
I haven't made as much purchases as I have last year.
No, I just mean specific knives, the Rhino, things like that.
Yeah.
Even
There's a
your
dual-
what's that thing?
Soroma.
Yeah, that one.
That one? Yeah. There's a dual thumb-studded Sabenza 31 coming my way probably before the end of the year. So we'll see how that works out for me.
Good stuff. We should do a review on it.
I'm sure Mr. Fisk will love the fact that I just said I'm taking the 31 home. But
Well, you can't have my 21.
Are you gonna get half serrated?
No, apparently
It's
that's
the
me.
Tando variation.
There you go.
Yeah, you should do a special order. Get the Tonto version, but only get the forward part of the Tonto serrated.
Can it be like the Benchmade 3D customizer where you can move the serrations back and forth on the blade? Yeah.
I want them here.
That would be Benchmade even, just like make it a thing. I think that's
How
How
hilarious.
cool.
angry would you be if you came into work and somebody was like, "No, put them in the middle of the blade. It's gonna ruin this knife and send it on."
That's like the worst place you could put it. All right, we should probably continue with the questions because we've strayed pretty far from.
It's the drinking games. These guys are ruthless. Oh no, VEF serrations. Put them anywhere you want. If you're gonna do a VEF serration, do one at the base of the blade.
That's not terrible. I've seen a couple
Little
knives do that.
paracord cutter.
You know what you should do?
It's called a sharpening foil. Like
Put VEF serrations all along the edge of the cold steel Spartan. That'd be nasty as hell.
they already don't want it, Joe. Seriously.
Well, they said VEF serrations wherever you want. That's where I want to put them.
Hey, Joe, can you mute
Yeah,
yourself?
No.
There we go. Stoned Wookie, excuse me, Darren in chat, said he prefers a fixed blade. His favorite is the one that does the hunting for him because he's lazy.
Yes.
I second that notion. Yes.
I'm still waiting for that one to show up. It's been on back order for a while. And then Mad One Outdoor said he doesn't hunt yet, but a fixed blade just for ease of cleaning, which we kind of touched on.
I think everyone here is going to agree on that.
Yeah.
Having said that, though, as well, like, is that the end of the
That was the last.
answers there?
Yep.
Yeah. I will dabble because I think we've got our opinions throughout this conversation. We don't really have to dabble on it too much, but Havalons. I think we need to dabble on Havalons because of the scalpel blade aspect, and they're phenomenal. They really are. I think they're absolutely awesome. I think everyone should have one, even if it's just as a backup for like your fixed blade or whatever it may be.
Just as a visual aid, this isn't a Havalon, but it's the same idea. It's just the Kershaw version.
Even having it just in your first aid kit is a good option. Like
super thin.
Yeah. If you're on a multi-day trip and it's hunting, I would have a Havalon in my med pack that I would pull out in a hunting situation if someone needed that extra blade, that extra. My running joke is the only people that don't like them are the people who haven't tried them, because like
they're effective.
It literally is just peel stuff off. The only downside is when the scalpels go dull because it is a low quality steel. I mean, but that's why they give you replacement ones and you pop them on, and don't try to push your luck on a dull blade and just switch to a sharp blade and you're back to just like an oh my goodness edge, right? So
if you're patient, you can resharpen them. I have done it. I used that Kershaw, or I used it as a craft knife for a while. It's a pain in the ass, though. You're better off just buying replacement blades for the amount of time you spend on it.
Yeah, I have not resharpened. I think I did one just to like see if it held any sort of, and I was like, you know what, at the cost of what they are, why bother? Almost type of thing, right? Like it's so.
I have sold them on the fact that you can resharpen them though in the past.
That you can.
If you want to go to the effort, you definitely can. I don't want to get into it too deeply, but I did want to just quickly flash up as far as hunting knives go. This is a good option. Nastaka, can't go wrong. Lone Wolf. What was this? It's the 431.
They have names too, but I can't
Yeah.
remember. Yeah.
It's the most tactical hunting knife on the market.
Except it's not on the market anymore.
Yeah. I could have been talking about the secondary market.
Yeah, okay.
I think the other one that's worth mentioning, and we're going to dabble on 3V and we're going to dabble on size-wise, is the mini Pembletons.
Mhm.
And me and Nigel both have the originals, which is the BG, just solid BG1 from
I have
Japan.
one of those too.
Yeah. And then I did actually special order for myself one of the, it's a longer handle and then also 3V with a heavily reprofiled edge because it's 3V. So, yeah.
And I will say, just for the size of the handle, I like the original ones better. The new ones with a little bit longer handle put it into that weird 3.5 finger grip for me, and it's just awkward.
Yeah, sure does. But yes, the original one, Nigel, can get more of a comfortable 3-finger grip on, and I think it's a little more natural for you that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, they get honorable mention from me for sure, and the Pembleton series in general, I think.
Yeah, I like having like that sort of a size of a blade, so I'll either take out the mini Pembleton, or I was really enjoying using this guy today. Popped a couple joints out with it, sort of thing, and just that's a nice size for little stuff for sure.
Most definitely. And I'm just gonna touch on one last knife, which is was my father's hunting knife. And it was made, I'm pretty sure it's made in Germany, somewhere around here. The swedge is actually like fully sharpened. I'm pretty sure he was using it like a European style gut hook. Because that's the only part of the knife that's really sharp right now, if I'm being honest. And I probably won't use this all the time, but this is definitely going to skin the first deer that I ever take.
Yeah.
Just for the sentiment of it.
Absolutely.
Well, and I actually had one other one that I've prepped. I haven't done anything because everything I've done in the last half a dozen years has been small game. Haven't properly been hunting since I was a teenager, but I did buy my Trail Buddy specifically.
It's so shiny.
Jesus. Yeah,
holy.
Here's the camera.
Oh, wow, I can see myself. That's horrible.
Yeah.
And don't forget White Pine Cone and my scar. At the same time.
Of all the handles, of all the knives in your collection, that is one of my favorites.
And part of the reason that it is so goddamn shiny is that I've reprofiled this thing with an axe file to just be an absolute scalpel of a piece of Anyway. So I haven't done anything big enough to justify that knife, but it has come out in my pack every single time because if there is something, whether it's Blaine's antelope this year, whether it's Nigel's mule deer, happy to help, and that guy will be there to make quick work of whatever is in its way for sure.
Yep.
So
fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Damn it, Joe, you took my line.
All about the fingies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Are we ready for another break before we go into the next round of questions, or is there anything else to bring up briefly before we do?
Mr. Fisk in chat is going, psst, psst, psst. Here the kitty.
So this is really, really random. I saw this funny video the other day of like this German guy trying to call a cat and using an example of the whole bunch of different languages of like what they would use to call a cat, and cat's just indifferent, absolutely ignoring him. And the German have a word, and it's like Strandenbogenhausen or something like that, and it pretty much means to startle an animal. And he says this out at the cat, and it's just instantly, what were you saying?
Kitty. Not working. Me. No. Michu. Starden, Burden, Harden, Bart. Oh, German always works.
That's
So
meta
that's
as
What's
fuck.
the right word?
Of course, the Germans have a word that specific about.
Right.
I am not going to go yell in German at my cat.
I think regardless of what
No.
you say, it's going to surprise the cat.
Not even my cat. It's my roommate. Jesus.
Everybody needs to hear "I love you," but you should yell it at them in German because life is strange and confusing.
Yes.
And your
You
love is
almost-
too.
You almost got that quote. It was close.
Drinking games.
Yeah. Speaking of, I need a refill.
So yeah,
Alright.
sounds like it's another break time here. Hang on tightly and see if the cat makes an appearance in episode or part 3 here.
We don't need bigger knife. Yeah.